Oh, hey, Captain. Thanks for stopping to chat.
To think that tower's like... I promise not to laugh if you need to jump up and down to stay warm. It seems the only thing lacking is power. With it, this elevator should still function. Whoever once used this room probably never could have imagined all that has happened since it was built. NASA was very proud of all that it accomplished. I suppose they had a right to be.
I just don't understand where these calculations came from.
There's something wrong with the math? I think it's quite straightforward.
That's not what I'm asking. We've had no success extracting even a sample of material from the object. No explanation for the gravitational effects, no motion graph to explain its harmonic frequencies. I can't even establish a melting point.
Judith.
But you've had me building these prototype colliders for months. And now you want me to pump $1 lie. Like, you know what's going to happen. Where are you getting your information, Victor?
I'm sorry, Judith. Look, not here, okay? Somewhere off base. I'll tell you everything. But I'm not lying, okay? We're going to discover something important here. I promise.
Looks like early testing for planetary habitats. The looks on their faces if we could show them all that we have learned. This facility covered quite a range of disciplines, but I must not have been kind to it.
Systems.
Did you think Vasco would see his likeness in this model?
Project Log. Dr. Victor Isa. We turned on the prototype today. The gravitational field around it began to fold as we long suspected. Complete reversal of gravitational pull was observed on dozens of loose objects around the lab. I'm setting up a meeting with the directors to propose a larger test. The prototype proves we don't need the original anymore, but further work is going to have to take place in space. Somewhere with abundant helium-3 and with a civilian partner. Someone with access to large-scale manufacturing resources and computational equipment. Engineering gravitational folds pulling the far side of the solar system closer to us? It's all going to be possible.
Project Log. Dr. Judith Tatian. I watched the gravjet tests from the moon today. It was the first time we were able to talk to the team at Nova Galactic directly. So many things were under wraps before, but now everyone wants all the publicity they can get. I'm already seeing proposals for manufacturing androids of drives, expeditions to Alpha Centauri and beyond. It's also overwhelming and worrying. It could take years. Decades before we know what all these side effects of operating a grav drive can be. But no one wants to hear that right now. Like the pioneers racing towards the edges of the frontier without knowing about the grizzly bears in the mountains.
never actually got to visit your labs back when we were working on the grav drive projects.
Seems like ancient history now. Only thing we're doing these days is launching weather satellites.
Guess this is as good a retirement as any. Now, Project Demeter, you want our help manufacturing scanners to better track these new meteorological patterns we're seeing.
Our guess is that the poles might be naturally shifting, causing some gravitational fluctuations that are throwing off our old models.
Why do you need the scanning tolerances to be so small? What are you trying to find?
I just want to be sure. It's not like we're doing much these days anyway. The glory days are over. Why not give ourselves a challenge before they write us off in the history books?
I know what I'm seeing, Victor.
My name is Dr. Victor Isa. And if you're listening to this, then you probably already know the truth. I was young when I first headed the retrieval team of an odd gravitational anomaly on Mars. But I kept what really happened that day hidden from everyone except one other person. Even she didn't believe me at first. But I have no reason to lie to anyone now, so I hope you'll accept this confession, whoever you are. When I touched the anomaly, I experienced 12 days of lost time. I met myself.
Constellation, we've arrived on the surface of Earth. We need to discuss what you found.
And it looks like other Starborn got here before us. So, you might have company.
Do you understand now why I asked you to come here? The artifacts unlocked the secret of interstellar travel. at the cost of Earth.
An easy trade, honestly. Why have one world when you can have all the settled systems?
Every grav drive in the settled systems was built on technology that came from an artifact that was discovered on Mars. But these early drives shook the gravity field surrounding Earth. Eventually, the atmosphere started to slowly sputter away into space. That's why Earth is uninhabitable. The artifact gave the scientists a greater understanding of time and space, but not the wisdom to see where that would lead.
The settled systems wouldn't exist without the artifacts, in other words. We owe what happened here in NASA a great debt.
I am glad you see it that way. I also believe that is true. Don't you see? The power of the artifact forced humanity to the stars. They didn't get to make a choice. How many would have chosen Earth? What gave Victor Isa the right to choose for them?
You see the hypocrisy in what the emissary is saying, right? They don't want to rob people of their free will, but then they steal the artifacts for themselves.
In the wrong hands, the power of the artifacts can make anyone a tyrant. That's why we watch over them. The only thing you're watching out for is yourself. Unfortunately, that seems to be true. Whether or not that rule is fair or just, that is a separate issue.
Finally, common sense.
Don't do this. Even if you agree with the Hunter's methods, he's only looking out for himself.
Oh, I think we all know that. But I want you to succeed. You've never gotten this far before. I need to see what happens to you.
That, I think, is all you can do. Do not allow these Starborn to dictate your fate.
Well, look at that. The emissary just became my new best friend.
You've made your choice. When you're ready, the Hunter and I will be at the buried temple. That's where we'll settle things.
Meaning, we'll kill you. But hey, at least we'll wait till you get there. Everyone deserves a shot at the final artifact.
Hello there.
not be life here, but we should...
This is what Constellation has been for. This place, the Starborn, all of it. Highlights how little we still know. Is something amiss? I have something I wanted to say. But I confess I am afraid of how you will react. I am reluctant to put that to the test. But it is necessary that we are honest with each other. I know that you said you prefer to be surrounded by others, unlike me. But Constellation means something to us both. And I must be honest about why. The little I have spoken of my history has been nothing but truth. I worked with smugglers. I have caused my share of pain and suffering. What I have left out, until now, is that all of that was done on behalf of House Varun. My people. my family. Cult is such a dismissive word. The faithless run to it so quickly. I have grown so tired of hearing it and all that it implies. I was born in the great city of Dazra and raised with the teachings of Jinan Varun. I underwent the rite of Krejar when I came of age. I am of the promised, those who know the truth of the Great Serpent and his inevitable return. Thank you. I doubt many would see it that way. There is a reason I am only just revealing this now. Several years ago, I intercepted requests from Constellation to access Varun's space, speaking only of exploration. I was sent to infiltrate Constellation, posing as a former smuggler looking for a new purpose in life. I withheld certain information, but everything I told Vladimir was, and is, true. It seemed to be enough. For a short time. Several weeks after I arrived, I attempted to access secure records within Constellation's archives. Vladimir and Sarah were waiting for me. Quite an understatement. I was horrified. My failure would be reported to the High Council, and the penalty would be severe. The history of Constellation, where expeditions are sent, data on star systems House Varun has not explored. Some information on their members and goals. As you have seen, there is relatively little that would be considered classified. You are now the third person within Constellation to know. You and I have spent so much time together. It has been increasingly difficult to keep this from you. And I am sorry for that. Telling you this violates so many of the orders I was given. But it was the right thing to do. I can feel that. You have no idea what a relief that is. Thank you for trusting me.
And we have... Been washing red here and there all over the station. Grim work. The spanner's torque is what the eye needs. The eye's showing signs over another one of those big anomalies. Here, catch a smile.
Need my help?
Whenever I'm lost, I think, what would you do in my shoes? Not literally, but I've got small feet.
I thought maybe I would come up with something to say, but I've got nothing. So instead, I thought I would quote something that gave me comfort a long time ago. Is God real? The more proper question would be, is reality divine? Existence itself is a mystery which yearns to be uncovered. What is goodness but a comparison to the good? What is existence but a participation in being? For where the diversity of the universe inspires awe and wonder, it exists only in contrast to a simplicity so pure that it may only be understood as primordial and even divine. Our essence is what was imagined by its mind. But what we consider imagining and what we consider mind are in fact so far beyond our understanding that even these metaphors are like the tiny whitecaps on a massive surging sea. There's more, but those are the parts that speak to me the most. Thank you.
That was really thoughtful, Mateo. Thank you. Does anyone else want to say anything? Thank you. If anyone else wants to say something. I hope this is all okay. Between fixing things up and sending out messengers and getting all the paperwork done. It's not much. Good. Good. Sorry, if I talk any longer, I'm gonna start crying. Could you excuse me?
I don't often speak about what I believe in. It seems so redundant with how I live. But death is one of those occasions where it's hard not to look inward. Our friend is gone. There's no afterlife, or second meetings. No God in heaven that is curating a perfect ending for him. So it's up to us. We are what lives on. If the pain of loss inspires us to greater action, then that is the good that comes from it. Humanity is what truly creates our world. We are the ones that judge things to be good or evil, joyful or mournful. Let us take responsibility for it. Let us remember what we have lost.
Walter, are you part of the House of Enlightenment? I never knew that.
Yes, well, I like to keep some things private.
You all might not like thinking about this, but when we die, everything about us breaks down, decomposes, gets eaten up by insects and microbes. Or due to the lack of a biosphere, we are simply carried away by space and time until we sizzle in a distant sun's corona or get pulled in some gravitational field and coalesce with other debris. Not comforting, huh? But I disagree. Do you know what I find uncomfortable? The thought that after I die, the universe is just going to stand still forever. Could you imagine? The fact is that the universe goes on, that life goes on, that things do not just sit still. That right there is the comfort that I need. Yeah, we die. And some people go way before they should. But the universe doesn't care. Not because it's evil, but because it's infinite. Ever expanding. And who wouldn't want to be a part of infinity? Even if it's just for a short while. Listen, we don't worry about ourselves before we were born, do we? Of course not. We emerge from the universe as we return to it. And for one beautiful moment, we are here, together.
Yes, that certainly was an interesting perspective, Barrett.
You know, what you're feeling right now is a chemical reaction whose evolutionary goal is promoting social cohesion. Never seems to work for me. No matter how many times I do this, I feel less attached, not more. Well, look at us. Two lone wolves howling at the moon on the same night. You know, if there's one piece of advice I can actually give you, it's that lost loved ones have a way of coming back to you. One day you'll be sweeping out some old shelf or digging through a desk, and there it'll be. Some old paperweight of theirs, or a piece of jewelry they gave you, half-jokingly. Theoretically, of course. You're welcome. Dusty. Dusty.
Yes. I remember you. The wedding. I was so happy for both of you. I wish the circumstances of my visit were better. Unfortunately, this isn't the first Constellation funeral I've been to. After 35 years, you say goodbye to a lot of friends. I hope you don't mind me saying, but I feel numb just thinking about it. Sarah meant the world to me. She was the future. I knew it as soon as I met her. Oh yes, I was Sebastian Banks's protege, if that gives you any idea of how long I was part of our little club. Knew him, argued with him, tried to carry on his memory when he vanished. Sebastian will be back tomorrow, we always used to say. It reminded us that he was still here, in the bones of this old building.
Chat for a bit? Normally, I hate talking to people at funerals, but, well. You don't believe in the afterlife, do you? I mean, this might be the worst time to bring it up, but... Somewhere deep down, I think we all wish it's not true. But part of us knows there's no going back. Even if there is something in the beyond, it's not here, is it? Well, I've taken up enough of your time.
It almost feels wrong to be grieving. Selfish. No amount of tears will bring the dead back. It's just easier to feel guilty, if you'll excuse me.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I know. She said that to me like 1,000 times. It's just that I feel so alone. With Sarah, it was like starting a family again. The way she'd smile at me reminded me of my mom. I missed that so much. Now she's gone, and I have to start over, like I did before. It's not the same. Sarah was starting to feel like, well, like she was my new mom. I really don't want to go through this again. It's too hard. I can't believe Sarah's gone. It's not fair. Really? You mean it? I would love for that to be true. Hey, thanks for talking to me. I'm actually feeling a little better knowing that you care how I feel. Maybe I'm not so alone after all.
I am told these types of gatherings are a sad occasion. That assumption appears to be correct. I appreciate you verifying my analysis, although I am certain my thanks will do little to improve your current psychological trauma. If you would like, though, I can add some consoling language to my programming. It will take some time to adapt, but it will be okay. How was that? I will note that feedback for later.
Hi. No. And don't keep asking. I'm not gonna be, alright? Everything's worse now. So many people here. So many people saying goodbye. Ugh, it doesn't change anything. Everything's worse. Nothing's going to make that better. Every day is going to be worse now. Don't you get that? I want to be alone for a while, okay?
Everyone is in mourning. I understand, but I cannot quite share in their emotion. After the shock of what happened faded, I have felt nothing else. Just a numbness. I have seen death. I have lost people I considered close. But this is... it is not the same. I cannot explain why. I am not sure I am making sense. Thank you.
Is it quieter in the lodge, or is it just me? Death is a bastard. Comes for us all. You know, there's an old Aquila story about two pioneers who got lost trying to find a new frontier to settle. One of them takes ill. Clear he's not gonna make it, he turns to his partner and says, "Don't bury me. Let the ground take what it's due. I'd rather be a ghost chasing after you than walk through the pearly gates knowing an eternity of loneliness until you get there." Sad story, huh? You look after yourself.
Drink? Pour one out to the blackest sea? Two old friends. May their ghosts go past the edges of space, to the great beyond. I